Shit, I'm tired as fuck. Come on.
Wrestling Federation. For over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
right, good evening and welcome, wrestling fans, here to the superstars of wrestling here on the Nation Network. Mean Scheme here along with Jesse Labonte, and tonight, the return of the Ultimate Warrior right here live from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we'll be back with more right after this. All right, fans, here he comes, making his triumphant return. Oh, look at this.
The contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring, accompanied by Hulk Hogan. And from parts unknown, weighing in at 275 pounds, the Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior here, and he is accompanied by Hulk Hogan.
Now, would somebody please tell me what in the hell Hulk Hogan is doing here at ringside?
Well, Jess, I've got a pretty good idea. Having a good authority that Bobby the Brain Heenan, a friend of yours, has been hard at work wheeling and dealing. And it's my understanding that the contract of Ahmed Johnson has already been sold.
Well, you know something? I happen to know that's true. Bobby the Brain always working behind the scenes to make things happen, and today is no different.
And his opponent.
Who is that?
Accompanied by Dr. O. Styles.
Oh, somebody hit her upside the back of her head.
And from Pearl River, Mississippi, weighing in at 303 pounds, Ahmed Johnson.
You know what? Never let it be said that the World Wrestling Federation is not an equal opportunity employer. They've got a stuttering moron in the microphone doing announcements.
All right, well, I digress, but who is this Doctor of Style?
His name, and that's all you need to know, is Slick.
Slick?
That's right, Slick.
Well, he has now acquired the contract of Ahmed Johnson, and apparently the Ultimate Warrior must have gotten wind of this and asked Hulk Hogan to keep an eye on things from ringside.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, Slick is a licensed manager. Has Hogan got a license to be there at ringside?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you go ask him?
It's not my place to ask him. But somebody around here better.
All right, we kick it off with a big one, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a major main event for you. Tag team action. It's going to be off the hook. You won't want to miss it. Bell sounds action underway, and Ultimate Warrior with a clothesline, and down goes Ahmed Johnson, and he's stunned.
Went for another one, nobody home this time. Well, the Ultimate Warrior getting the upper hand right now on Ahmed Johnson, but I'm not sure how long that will last.
Ahmed feeling it out right now, the back in trouble. And the Warrior once again taking him down, and Hogan ringside cheering him on, as are the crowd here live from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ahmed Johnson now sending the Ultimate Warrior into the corner. And the Warrior fighting his way out. Oh my goodness!
Oh, he got caught that time. Nice move by Ahmed Johnson, dropping, if not driving, the Ultimate Warrior throat first into the top rope.
Ahmed Johnson now going to work.
Now, is it just me, or is Hogan looking kind of satisfied?
Hogan is confident, I believe. He is confident that the Ultimate Warrior is going to come back from that he has. Series of big right hands on boots in the midsection.
Yeah, series of right hands. Last time I checked, you're not allowed to use a clenched fist in professional wrestling.
Oh, wait a minute. Now Slick distracted the Ultimate Warrior. And this is the reason why Hogan is here.
How easy is he distracted by a little manager like that?
Back body drop, and now the Warrior managing to pull it out here. Irish whip sends him to the rope, back out front. The Warrior with a leapfrog. Boot to the midsection, or the face perhaps. Bouncing the head of Ahmed Johnson up the canvas. Oh, and wait a minute. The Warrior perhaps ready.
Ready for what?
Well, if he can get him up in that gorilla press, and we've seen it before, he's got him. This may be the beginning of the end for Ahmed Johnson. The Ultimate Warrior to the ropes. There's the splash. Goes for the cover. Will that be enough? Slick trying to get the referee.
Ahmed Johnson managing to get out of there, but you're right. Slick tried to get involved, but he missed his target.
And now the Ultimate Warrior winds him up, sends down on the feet of Hulk Hogan.
Oh, and now Hogan, what is he doing putting his hands on Ahmed Johnson? He's got no business.
Oh, the world champion trying to help him up, I believe.
Help him up? You don't think Ahmed Johnson is capable of getting up on his own?
Well, apparently the Hulkster didn't. And now the Ultimate Warrior again has him up. Couldn't hold it this time. What a move by Ahmed Johnson. Hey, there's a steel chair in the ring. Somehow a steel chair has come into the ring. And now Ahmed Johnson. The Ultimate Warrior now turns it around. The referee sees the Warrior and disqualifies him.
Well, that's what happens when you use a foreign object.
Yeah, but the Warrior was not the one who introduced the foreign object.
Doesn't matter. Referee saw it.
All right, fans, stay with us. Plenty more action still to come. Chicanery is going on here in our opening contest. All right, fans, we are back for more of the WWF Superstars of Wrestling. We talked about him before, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and this is one he has kept, Andre the Giant, as a member of the Heenan family.
Well, Bobby the Brain Heenan has got the best interest of all his men at heart.
Accompanied by the Superstar. And from Grenoble, France, weighing in at 520 pounds, the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant, indeed. The eighth wonder of the world. Over 7 foot tall, 500 pounds. Not too many people having success with this man, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, think about it. I mean, he's the size of 2 average men. He's the weight of 2.5 average men. Maybe 4 if we're looking at you.
Indeed. Bobby the Brain Heenan, of course, escorting Andre to the ring. He's not going to give up his cash cow, now is he?
No, why would he?
All right, bells, sounds, action underway, and Mr. X is on the unfortunate list of having to be the man in the ring with Andre. Andre has him up. What a move right there as he slams him down hard to the canvas.
Yeah, Mr. X, I don't like his odds right now. I'm not sure. I haven't called Vegas, but I'm willing to bet they're somewhere near 2 million to 1.
Oh, Andre, this time Mr. X got out of the way just in the nick of time, but didn't buy him much in the way of luck. And now Andre shoots him to the ropes. Back out front he comes. And he just ran in to the wall. That is Andre the Giant. A big right hand and another. Mr. X now trying his luck on Andre.
How much luck do you think he's going to have on Andre the Giant?
I dare say not very much at all. Oh, Andre has him up in the air now. What's he going to do with him here? Get out of town. He turned it around. And Andre the Giant on the receiving end. Can you believe it?
I can't believe what I've just seen right here. Mr. X just did something I didn't think he could physically ever do.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. He has definitely raised the ire of Andre the Giant. Making Mr. X pay the price now is Andre.
Well, I'll tell you, you don't want to make an angry Giant. And I believe Mr. X has already done that.
Andre has him from behind. Look at this. Just squeezing the cranium of Mr. X.
Yeah, I believe his eyes were starting to bug out from behind the mask.
And now Andre, butterfly suplex takes him over.
That was a move that he used to once upon a time become the world champion.
Well, he held that title very briefly before surrendering it to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And Andre has him up. Cross, knee, backbreaker, and Mr. X in a lot of trouble right now. One-sided match, to say the least, as Andre takes him down. Mr. X now going to work on the midsection of Andre, and he manages to break free. Oh, look at this. Overhead. I thought he was going to throw him out to the floor.
He could have if he wanted to, and I'll tell you, Mr. X, he is going to rue the day that he did that move on Andre the Giant.
No doubt about it. Mr. X already paying punishment. This match would have been over. It looked like Andre was getting ready to put him away early in this one. But now, you're right, due to what happened. Oh, there's a jawbreaker. And now Mr. X going to a top wrist like he's got the Giant down to one knee.
Yeah, but that's not enough. He hasn't done any damage to Andre the Giant, while Andre has absolutely decimated Mr. X.
Look at that. That enormous boot down across the throat of Mr. X. And again, Andre throwing him around as if he were a rag doll. Andre the Giant measures him. Oh, there's the elbow.
You're not going to get up from that one.
Oh, wait a minute. Life. There is still life.
I don't understand why he would even try.
Nice move right there by Mr. X. Who is this Mr. X? Looking to pull a major upset. I don't know. You're under a mask. Anything's possible here. He goes for the slam. No way.
Yeah, you're right. No way. Andre the Giant not going to have that happen.
He's got him up again. Andre. Again, unable to hold it. Can you believe this? For the second time.
Mr. X is going to really be paying some punishment here soon. Andre the Giant is not a man to play with, and right now, Mr. X thinks he can do it.
Smart move right here by Mr. X, going to work on the leg and the knee of Andre the Giant. Meantime, from behind, this masked man is in control. Look at the look on the face of Bobby the Brain Heenan. He's not happy.
No, he's not, and why would he be? As you said, the cash cow right now, and now on the receiving end of a lot of punishment.
Oh, walk! Back and forth. And now Andre the Giant getting the upper hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't mind telling you, I did not expect this much competition in this match, but Mr. X is bringing it like we have never seen him before. Andre, overhead, drives into the mat. Too close to the ropes.
Yeah, he was a little bit close there, and Andre's got to be aware, but right now I'm sure he's just trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. How is this Mr. X putting up the kind of fight he's putting up, and who the hell is he?
Went for the big boot, nobody home. DDT, taking a page from the book of Jake the Snake Roberts. Andre in trouble.
He has that top wrist lock on, but Andre's got the leverage because he's so much bigger.
Mr. X continues to go to work on the leg. Look at the face of Bobby the Brain Heenan. He's losing his mind. Bobby the Brain Heenan has got to be wondering what is going on in this one. Andre the Giant staying in the ring.
Well, he's doing the right thing right now. He's getting his breath back. He's waiting on Mr. X. He has the advantage. Why not?
Andre now dragging him out towards the middle of the ring. Measuring him. And again, there's the big elbow. The shoulders down. And I believe that's all we're going to see from Mr. X here tonight. We'll take a look back at some of the highlights from this one. Andre the Giant giving a lot more of a match than anybody anticipated he would be here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know who's under that mask, but I've got a funny feeling it might not be the guy we usually have under there. We've seen Mr. X many, many times before, and he never would have been able to put up the kind of fight he did here tonight against Andre the Giant.
Well, indeed, I'd like to know who's under that mask tonight.
Here is your winner, the 8th wonder of the world, Andre
Andre the Giant Victor. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. What is he doing? What is he doing?
Well, Andre looking to put out a message to anyone in a Mr. X costume that if you want to play with the Giant, get ready because you're going to get blasted.
Oh! All right, fans, we are back, and it is time for more great action here on WWF Superstars of Wrestling. And I'll tell you right now, that last one.
Making his way to the ring from Mexico City, Mexico, weighing in at 245 pounds, Tito Santana.
The Latin sensation, Tito Santana from Tacula, Mexico. Getting ready to go up against his former tag team partner once again, Rick Martel. These two men have had a feud that has run several weeks now here in the World Wrestling Federation ever since the breakup of Strikeforce.
Yeah, yet Tito Santana still wearing the jacket that says Strikeforce. Why? Does he really think they're going to get back together again?
Oh, I seriously doubt that as we take a look now.
Accompanied by Jimmy Hart, and from Cocoa Beach, Florida, weighing in at 234 pounds, Rick the Model Martel.
Well, there he is, the model, Rick Martel, joined by Jimmy Hart, who recently acquired the services of Mr. Martel, who is now an honorary member of the Hart Foundation.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Martel was dangerous on his own, but now you put him together with Jimmy Hart. I'll tell you right now, I don't know where you go from here. You could be looking at a new world champion right there. Look at him. Perhaps he's going to be the one to dethrone Hulk Hogan. Bring some stability back here in the World Wrestling Federation.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd definitely want to pay to see a match between those two men.
As would I.
All right, Santana, Martel, sizing each other up. Won't be a lot of feeling out in this one. These two men know each other very well.
Yeah, I dare say they know each other better than anyone. They traveled up and down the roads, wrestled side by side for a long time, former tag team champions together.
Back heel trip nicely done, and Santana gains the advantage over Martel. Santana, no slouch, former tag team partner, as you just mentioned, and tag team champion, also former Intercontinental champion. And the man with the distinction of retiring you, my friend.
He didn't retire anything. I decided I had nothing left to prove, and the broadcast booth was sorry, and I had to come in and clean things up, as I always do.
Well, be that as it may, right now it is the model, Rick Martel, with the advantage, going to work on the left arm and shoulder of Tito Santana. Fans, we want to invite you to stick around at the end of this broadcast for a very special State of the Nation address. Into the turnbuckle he goes. Nice move right there now. Martel with the side headlock on Tito Santana. We also have a major announcement right after this match regarding the Royal Rumble.
I'll tell you right now, I am so looking forward to the Royal Rumble, one of the biggest events of the year here in the World Wrestling Federation. And I understand that a big decision has just been made.
Indeed, and we'll be talking about it right after this. as Santana goes to work now on the arm of Martel. Returning the favor, you may say.
Well, no matter how much these two dudes don't like each other, I'll say one thing, they're both capable of having a great wrestling match, and right now that's what we're getting.
Santana now to the top rope. Comes down with a sledgehammer right down across the head. Double axe handle. And Martel feeling it. Santana believes he might have him. Shoulders are down. Referee in position. And Martel out the back door on the count of one. Right back to the arm.
Well, I'm no fan of Chico Santana, and there's no surprise there. But I'll give credit where credit is due. He's picked a body part and he's working it and he's sticking to it.
Of course, Rick Martel would love nothing more than to apply the Boston Crab, his finishing move on Santana. But however, if Santana is able to do damage to that arm and shoulder, he may not be able to put the torque on it that he would need to try and draw submission from Santana. And I'd be honest with you, I don't think he'd be able to draw submission from Tito Santana anyway.
Well, it won't be easy, I'll say that, but yeah, I believe Rick Martel definitely can get Santana to tap out.
Slips out the back door, Martel dropping Santana on the back of his head here on the floor.
As I've said many times in the past, the mat out here is not a forgiving surface because right below that is nothing but concrete.
Santana just went into the steel steps, and there's nothing forgiving about those either. Referee's count has reached 8. Oh, big uppercut. Santana ducks it back into the ring. Martel just barely beats the 10 count.
Well, that would have been a travesty right there if Santana had to settle for a count-out victory.
And now airplane spin. Martel depositing Santana. Goes for the cover. Not hooking the leg. Referee gets 1, and that's all. Fans, I'll tell you right now, Martel is going to have a hard road to hoe right here. When he turned his back on Tito Santana, essentially handing the tag team titles over to the Brainbusters. He ignited a fire in Santana that I have not seen in quite some time, perhaps not since I've seen him go up against the magnificent Morocco for that Intercontinental Championship. He hooks the leg of Martel. Santana gets 2. He got him!
Are you kidding me?
Tito Santana victorious. Let's take a look at some of the action. What a victory for Tito Santana here in this one.
I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Fans, I'll tell you, this has been a very interesting series of events here. The airplane spin. There was a chance right there, but here it was, Santana with a crucifix. Couldn't hold him, but he banged the back of his head pretty well. That might have been it. It appeared to stun Martel.
Here is your winner, Tito Santana.
Tito Santana victorious here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Jimmy Hart not too happy about that, and fans will be back with more action right here on the World Wrestling Federation's Superstars of Wrestling. Stay with us. All right, fans, we are back. And being joined now by the rowdy one, Roddy Piper. The former World Heavyweight Champion, but has recently found a new distraction, you may say.
Well, Rowdy Roddy Piper's here, and he's got a live mic, so all bets are off. So there's this guy running around here in the World Wrestling Federation who considers himself to be the king. Now, I've done some fact checking, and I found out that Jerry Lawler, indeed, in places like here, has earned a nickname of the king. See, I don't believe in nicknames. I have a title. And my title is Rowdy. And I've been Rowdy since before Rowdy was cool, man. Yeah. But if you think you're going to come into my world, and you think you're going to be the king, I got something else coming. So Jerry Lawler, right here tonight, in what might as well be your own backyard, I have come to do two things: chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum, man.
Oh, wait a minute. The crowd here in Baton Rouge, very familiar with Rowdy Roddy Piper's opponent, if you would. Jerry the King Lawler, and here he comes. Almost to a hero's welcome.
Well, he's actually pretty well received in these parts of the world. And Piper's right, he does have a long track record.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Piper. You're right. I am known as the king in a lot of places, and you're standing in the ring with the king right now. And if you don't like that, well, then I suggest you start walking down those steps right there, because if you stay in this ring with me much longer, I'm afraid things may not be going very well for you.
You think I'm afraid of you? I eat people like you for breakfast, man. And I crap out Hulk Hogan. You don't scare me. I am the Rowdy one, and I am the man who will take you out of the WWF, man.
Well, I appreciate that you feel that way, and I also appreciate you giving me a little bit of a warning, giving me this opportunity to leave and still have all my faculties about me, and I appreciate that very much. But I heard you say that you came out here for two things, and that one of them you's all out of. So, well, what I'm thinking is, since we're both here,
what I'm thinking is, if you don't understand the opportunity I'm giving you, maybe I should give you a little bit more of a lesson. See, since math isn't your strong point already, maybe I need to beat some English into you.
Well, you can try. Hell, a lot of other people have tried, Mr. Piper. But I think you'll have about as much luck as any of them ever had. You see, I'm not a nickname of the king. I'm the king because I back it up, and it doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter if it's the World Wrestling Federation, if it's the AWA or the NWA.
It doesn't matter where you're at. I'll tell you what matters. What matters is you come into the home of the Rowdy one. Right now, man, you're not standing in your kingdom. You are in Piper's pit, and you are gonna pay a price.
Well, you know what, Roddy Piper, I see you doing a lot of talking, but I don't see you backing up much of your actions. I give the credit where credit is due, my friend, and I'll give the devil his due. You former world champion, but you're not world champion anymore, so you're really not high up on my list. But if I've got to beat a former champion to prove myself here in the World Wrestling Federation, well, I say let's make this happen.
All right. I gave you every opportunity. You didn't take it. You're apparently not too smart, but that's okay. We deal with dumb here as well. And at the Royal Rumble, I'll deal with you. And all these people are going to see what happens.
Piper with a headbutt from out of nowhere. Wait a minute. Jerry Lawler and Roddy Piper. Here's the Irish whip reversed. And now Lawler sent crashing down. Piper, what is he doing? Oh, wait a minute. He's got a steel chair. Piper in the ring with a steel chair. Lawler caught it.
Oh, he struck Roddy Piper in the head with that chair.
Piper now and Lawler going at it. They have just agreed to meet at the Royal Rumble. Back and forth the blows go. Oh, Piper! He caught him!
And now the Rowdy one being pulled back by the referee.
All right, fans, we'll be back with more right after this. We've got to get some order restored here. All right, fans, we are back, and here come the tag team champions.
All the way to the ring, accompanied by the Superstar, and at a combined weight of 450 pounds, the World Tag Team Champions, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson, and Tully Blanchard, the Brain Busters.
All right, the Brain Busters making their way to the ring. Non-title match in our main event, and they have got one that they're going to have to really find a way to deal with.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Bobby the Brain Heenan puts his men in the big matches because he wants to test them. He wants them to be ready for the biggest challenges that are going to come for those tag team titles.
Oh, brother. Baton Rouge on its feet. Hawk Animal along with Precious Paul Ellering.
And their opponent, accompanied by Paul Elgin, and at a combined weight of 600 pounds, hard and the animal, the Road Warriors.
The Road Warriors indeed making their way down to the ring, and this crowd going berserk.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the Brain Busters are going to really have their work cut out for them here tonight. The Road Warriors, considered to be one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Whether you call them the Road Warriors or the Legion of Doom, it really doesn't matter. They are a destructive force here in the World Wrestling Federation, and they are going to try to demolish the tag team champions here tonight.
I'll tell you what, they have an entrance that gets the attention of everybody in this building. Nice move right there by Arn Anderson of the Brain Busters. Action underway. Again, title's not on the line. And fans, we promised you a major announcement, and here it is. We found out earlier today, before going on the air, that the Royal Rumble will not be the main event of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but explain exactly what that means, because the humanoids out there, they're not the smartest ones in the world.
The Royal Rumble will actually be the kickoff match, if you will. And the winner of this year's Royal Rumble will then go on to face Hulk Hogan in our main event at the Royal Rumble.
That's right, the world champion will defend the title, but he doesn't know who his opponent's going to be.
It could be any one of 30 different superstars here in the World Wrestling Federation. It could be one of these four men.
Very possible. Hey, it could be Paul Ellering. Who knows?
I'm not sure if he's entered into the Royal Rumble, but if he is, yes, you're right, it could be. Right now, Hannibal sends him to the corner. Big clothesline following him in, and down goes Arn Anderson. These two teams will be meeting at the Royal Rumble for those tag team titles. Oh, look at this. Going to work on the knee. In the corner now, Tully Blanchard getting a shot in as well. Bobby the Brain Heenan definitely approving of what he sees so far. Look at Tully Blanchard pulling back. Back and forth, this one's going, and now again the power and strength of the Road Warrior on display here as he just throws Blanchard back towards his own corner.
Well, I'll tell you, that's not smart tag team wrestling right there. He should be getting Tully Blanchard away from Arn Anderson.
Indeed, that is the general idea in tag team wrestling as he goes for the cover after a spear on Animal, gets a 1 count. Arn Anderson in the corner looking on. Big knee lift right there by the Road Warrior. Oh, claps the ears.
That will very much disorient you. Your equilibrium can be thrown off after a move like that. It looks silly to some people, but trust me, have somebody do it to you one time, and if it doesn't blow your eardrums, see how much you want to fight.
Bobby the Brain Heenan pacing outside the ring. Oh, look at that. Blanchard followed him in, and he found nobody home. And now it is the Animal going to work. We have a steel chair in the ring.
Yeah, how do you figure that got there? That was Paul Ellering.
It may have been. I don't know. I didn't see it.
Yeah, you never see nothing.
Well, we saw what happened the last time a chair made its way into the ring. Double team right now is Arn Anderson going to work. Ellering distracted, but wait a minute. Oh, look at this. Anderson tried to take advantage and use the chair, but Road Warrior Animal too smart for him. Tully Blanchard tags himself into the match.
And that's why he should have kept him in his corner. You're getting these guys too close to one another, making it easy for them. Road Warriors are not very smart here tonight, in my opinion.
And now Blanchard choking him out. 24 hours it'll be for the tag team titles. Oh, pile driver. And now, wait a minute, Paul Ellering again up on the apron, doing something with that turnbuckle. Referee comes over.
Well, Paul Ellering right now, he seems very nervous, as if he knows that the Legion of Doom have bitten off perhaps more than they can chew.
DDT'd him on the apron, and now Animal in trouble. Brainbusters doing very well for themselves against one of the top teams here in the World Wrestling Federation. Back and forth, they battle it out here on the floor. Snapmare takes him over now. Tully Blanchard measuring him up. Snapmare again. Working the neck as the referee's count has reached 5.
You see Paul Ellering right there trying to put his hands on Tully Blanchard. You haven't seen Bobby Heenan do anything yet in this match.
Well, indeed, thus far, surprisingly, Bobby Heenan has been the well-behaved of the managers as Tully Blanchard comes down with a big boot right to the chest of the Road Warrior. Animal desperately needing to make the tag. He's been in the ring a very long time, and now the Brainbusters have him in the corner, but he fights his way back out, and perhaps tide is about to turn. Tag made, and now what are we going to see here? Oh, wait a minute! Doomsday device! It's over!
Well, it may be right now. Arn Anderson's going to have to do something to break this up.
And he does! Arn Anderson had to make the save, otherwise it would have been a new. Well, I'll take it back. Title's not on the line, but it would have been a big victory nonetheless for the Road Warriors.
I'll tell you right now, back and forth this one goes. Both of these teams have had opportunities, but probably no better one than the Doomsday device. I'll give that to you.
Anderson right now. Arn Anderson on the receiving end. And a big clothesline by Hawk puts him down. We see Animal out on the apron, and he really looks like he needs a break.
Well, he's getting one, and I just don't know how much time they can afford to give him. Here's Arn Anderson looking to pull off a big one.
Trying to get a submission from Hawk. Not going to happen, though. Big clothesline. Down he goes. How big would a victory be right here for the Road Warriors heading in to the Royal Rumble?
Well, it would be a huge psychological advantage, number one. And it would also work quite the opposite way for Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Drops him down across the top rope. Tag made. Tully Blanchard's in. Anderson's out. Blanchard with a spear takes him down. Shoulder tackle. And now Hawk believes he has him. Hooks the leg. There's no one there to make a save. He got him.
Unbelievable.
Indeed. I don't believe it. We take a look back at some of the highlights from this one, ladies and gentlemen. The double team here by Anderson and Blanchard, the Brainbusters.
That was a devastating pile driver right there, busted him wide open. But this, for me, was the turnaround.
Here are your winners, Hard and the Animal, the Road Warriors.
Indeed, a most impressive victory here for the Road Warriors, ladies and gentlemen. We invite you to stick around. We're going to have a very special State of the Nation address coming your way in just a moment. In the meantime, from ringside here in Baton Rouge, for Jesse the Body, Mean Scheme saying so long, everyone. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Let me get caught up real quick here. I was bouncing back and forth. Yeah, Mr. X had a hell of a night, didn't he? Things that never should have happened. And we saw some of the new managers, old managers, however you want to call the managers, making their return. With Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart, Slick, making his debut here on the Nation Network. I don't think I've ever had him before. Has he ever been in the game? I don't think so. Not that I recall. And all that good stuff. So, there we go. That gets us caught up to what we just saw here tonight. And, of course, we saw the return of the Ultimate Warrior. So, right now, based on what I'm seeing on my screen, is a not so clear photograph and hard to read text. Am I the only one seeing a very blurry image? Let me know. Because that is kind of going to be what we're talking about here tonight. So according to what I'm looking at here, YouTube is saying that I've got a mediocre stream strength, which is bullshit. I'll tell you straight up, because I went out, bought some new equipment. When I saw this was starting to happen, I thought maybe the router was on its way out, and I invested some more money, and guess what? I'm having the exact same problems, but only with YouTube. Switch over to Twitch, no problems whatsoever. I don't lose signal. I don't get fuzzy imagery. And like I said, the quality that I'm looking at right now, and you guys let me know if you're seeing something different than I am. Matter of fact, I'll even pull it up on a second device here, just so I am covering all bases. But again, what I'm seeing on my screen is a very blurry image, and if I were to read the text off the screen, I wouldn't be able to read it. So, Theo, when you say it's good, I need to know, are you saying you can see everything clearly? Or the image, I mean, it's a still photograph. It should really be crystal clear. If there's any blur factor at all, then that's something with them. So I'm pulling this up right now on a second screen. Well, I'll say one thing. It does look better on my second screen than it does on the main screen, which is odd also. All right, so from my, what do you want to refer to this as? Your studio stuff that I do. And they recently, if you're not, a big follower of what goes on with YouTube and the content creators, let us know that they were going to do us a big favor and help us out by removing some of our subs. And the reason they're doing that is they said, well, we're going to look at the subs that really don't watch your product a whole lot, if at all, and this way how many actual subs you really have and who you're catering to and all that. So we're going to help you basically get rid of those people, which will just drop your sub count down. Thank you, Dr. Kevorkian, for helping me. Talk about assisted suicide. Thank you very much. This is the mentality that YouTube has taken in a lot of their stuff in recent years. It has gotten further and further away from the creator. There's this Title 13 that I've mentioned in the past. I'll mention it again. If you don't know what it is, there's plenty of YouTube videos explaining it, and it's all bad news. It's going to make it virtually impossible for me to do what I do on YouTube. So I'm going to be cutting back a lot on YouTube in general. I've got more than one channel. I've got this channel here. I've got a gaming channel. And I've got also a wrestling channel on Twitch. And I've got a gaming channel on Twitch. And it's night and day, the experience. The only negative thing I can say about Twitch is that the videos don't have a long lifespan, that they will end up disappearing after 14 days, I believe it is. Okay, so the stream got cut off for a bit. That's YouTube. That is YouTube. Because my signal is fine, man. I'm running over 125 up and 6 down, or vice versa. I forget. I sometimes get those numbers backwards. I've got good internet, damn good internet. And I paid for that. And I have zero problems. I've done 4-hour streams on Twitch without a hiccup. Recently. I have had this experience with, matter of fact, my gaming channel, if you guys aren't familiar, I've got one over there on YouTube. All Night Gaming. You can go look at the last couple of Rocket League videos that I posted, live videos, and it will completely pixelate in and out. It gets so, it looks like 8-bit several times. It's so bad. Then I jump over to Twitch, no problems. So whether YouTube is just like maxing out its abilities right now based on all the content creators and all the live streamers, and they just can't handle the load, which is what my thought is. Chat takes forever to load. Well, that's another thing I didn't think about. Yeah, thank you very much. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's not just mine. I know it's not mine. It is YouTube, though. And the problem is, when I'm doing a live event like this, or, the Royal Rumble, you can't all of a sudden have it cut out in the middle of a match, and then you come back on, and you're into a whole new match, and as an audience member, I'd be like, F this, I'm out. I mean, imagine if you were watching a real pay-per-view and it did that. So it really messes with the product, and therein lies the reason why you've seen a lot less of me streaming lately. I've experimented over on the other channel with wrestling, trying to see, how many folks were going to join over there, and it's a lesser number, and that's okay, because I'll agree one thing about their logic. If I've got 2,000 subs, but only 400 or 500 people actually watching the product regularly, then I really had 500 subs, and that's okay. I don't monetize this, so I really don't give a shit. And I know some people have said that, if you go over to Twitch, have a good time and all that, but I'm a YouTube person, I don't watch Twitch, and that's okay too, and I'll miss you. But in the very near future, there will be no more live content from me on this channel. How near future, I don't have a set time period yet, but it's going to be within a couple of months is my guess. In the meantime, I've cut it down to just the main event type stuff, like the Clash of Champions, Starrcade, got the Royal Rumble, of course, and a little bit of this setup stuff that we did tonight. But I'm cutting way back, and eventually we'll be switching completely over to Twitch, and then I guess I may post highlights only. You can upload video to YouTube, and it's fine. It's only the live event that is being impacted by their inability to keep up with the demand, which is what I really believe it is. But I'm not on PS4, though. Although, yeah, they have had PS4 issues. I'm running a PS4, but I'm not streaming through PS4. I'm streaming through a PC, which I paid good money for. And it's going through OBS, which is the most commonly used broadcasting software. And again, no problem on Twitch. So it's not the OBS, it's not my computer, it's not my internet. It is YouTube. Don't know what exactly, and they're sure as hell not going to turn around and say, hey guys, just so you know, we can't keep up with the demand anymore, which is what I really think it has to be. Oh, as a viewer? Oh, God. Well, I'm sure their advertisers would love to know that. They're paying for ad space on something that, you know, people are getting dumped out of, and then all of a sudden, again, this is going to end up backfiring in the sense where people are going to leave YouTube. Not just creators, but people like you that are trying to watch something and you're getting logged out. I mean, how frustrating is that? I never thought about, I don't think I've ever watched YouTube videos on my PS4. I've always used, my laptop, desktop, iPhone. So that's interesting. All right, well, that was the big announcement. I wanted to get out there and let you guys know what's going on because, again, I don't know how much longer, but yes, Theo, extremely frustrating. Those are the words that sum it all up. Switching gears back to wrestling briefly, and that's another part of the thing with the channel that's been weighing on my mind. I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I can't imagine a scenario that I haven't already come up with to the point where I'm running out of original ideas. We had, for those who have been around forever like Theo, will remember one of my favorite seasons, and a lot of people tell me that have been around long term that they loved it, was we had a season where there was a shift in the time continuum, and the old school wrestlers came back in their prime, and they were going up against the current crop of wrestling at the time, and this is going back 10 years ago at least. But, I've literally done just about everything that can be done and twisted as many things as I could twist. And right now we're kind of in that point where I'm still coming up with a couple of matchups, like, with Piper and Lawler. I don't recall the two of those guys ever having a feud. I'm sure they must have crossed paths somewhere, but not in the WWF, not in the NWA that I ever saw. So I thought that would be a good battle of the talkers and, good matchup in general to have as those two go at it. But when you think about guys like Hulk Hogan, the Road Warriors, I mean, who have they not gone against? Who that we're not just rehashing and rehashing? So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm running out of ideas. So there's less content coming out right now because I'm running out of original stuff to put out there. And the game still has issues with it as well. So the big one for me is if you try to put a run in and book it to run in at the end of the match when someone's celebrating, it doesn't happen. They don't run in. Yeah, the Attitude Era for sure is there, and it's kind of what this season's heading towards. I don't know that I'll actually do Attitude in this season, but we're going in that time frame where, like, October of 19, when we're looking at the 2K20, I can tell you this much right now. A thing that I am looking at is for 2K20, and I don't think it's not going to happen. I'd be shocked if it doesn't happen, is that they would have an NWO, maybe not an NWO edition of the game, although that would be good. They have never done an NWO edition. But that all main members of the NWO would finally be featured again, and that they would have Hogan back in the NWO gear. They would have Hall and Nash and all that. And hopefully some of the other main players from Nitro and Raw. Not much doubt that they'll have the Raw people in there. Nitro, hit and miss. Well, is it always the same? Piper and Lawler never clashed in their history. Well, then, I guess we're going to have some fun with that, aren't we? I may have struck something. How's that possible?
How is that possible? They were both in the WWF at the same time. Good God, with their ability to talk? Damn it, man. That is huge to not have had that happen. Anyway, 2K has a lot of similar bugs every year. Then they'll fix one, and then you get a new one. I'm just so frustrated because before 2K, you had THQ, and hard to believe that THQ was the better of the two, but they were. So all of the stuff added together between YouTube being a major disappointment and 2K just not getting out of their own way, it's made it less fun. You guys are the only reason I still do it because I enjoy the banter. I pop in between matches and see some of the comments going. And even when we have time to do these little after shows, I have fun with that as well. So thank you guys so much for your contribution, because if it weren't for this thing would have been done a long time ago. $2K14. I'd have to go back and look that one up again. Yeah, Lawler was still in Memphis when Piper got big. I'm not saying in their prime, but when Lawler was battling it out with Bret Hart in the WWF, Piper was around. I mean, he wasn't like main eventing or anything, but he was around. You could have put the two of them together. Did they wrestle a King? "30 years of WrestleMania." Oh, yeah. I remember that now. Damn, I might dust that one off just for nostalgia. King of the Ring 94. I might have to go back and review that. It was the worst match ever according to Piper? Really? Oh, now I have to watch that again. That's hard to believe that Piper would say that. Wonder why. Well, the build-up, that's what I was thinking. How could they go wrong with those two guys on a mic? So the build-up was better than the match. I mean, I guess in-ring work speaks for itself, but I would still expect that to be good with those two guys. Oh, I'm so going to watch that in a minute. All right. Well, listen, guys, I just wanted to touch base, let you know, because obviously there's been, I think, 2 weeks between streams now, and didn't want you to think that I was just throwing in the towel or anything like that, but dealing with YouTube is just taking the fun out of it. That's all there is to it. Even now, I'm looking at the stream health, and it's showing that it's just okay. And now, all of a sudden, it just bounced into the green where it's, hey, you got a healthy stream. No shit. Now it bounced back to yellow again. This is what I'm saying, and I don't have these problems with any other platform other than YouTube. I haven't had a single game kick me out during the gameplay. You know, if I'm playing Last of Us or I'm playing Rocket League or any multiplayer game, I'm not getting disconnect notices or any of that kind of crap. So there's no reason for YouTube to be having all these troubles, but whatever, I digress. The fact that other people are having the same problems, which just goes to show. Yeah, and I agree. I think there is a love-hate relationship when it comes to YouTube, because the idea of what we're able to do with YouTube and create with YouTube is really, it's awesome for creators and for fans. And the communities that you can put together, as we have shown here. And the downside is that they're just kicking the shit out of their own product when you have this kind of thing. I mean, things happen, I get that, but this has been going on for months.
When are you going to fix it? When are you going to address it? So, I don't know. Last thing I was going to touch on with with wrestling is All Elite. I'm a little bit more following the shenanigans going on with that, and I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you, at this point. Based on All In, which I've more than covered here on this channel, my opinions of that, I feel like they're still going in that direction. And for me, that's not going to do anything. You're not going to beat the WWF or even put a dent in the armor if that is the product you're looking for. Well, it's overhyped right now because they haven't done anything. And until they actually have that first card to kick things off and all that other nonsense, we won't know. But you're bringing in Chris Jericho and making like that's a big deal. Chris Jericho is 50 years old. If this is the guy you're going to use to carry the flag, then I'm watching WCW again in the 90s. There's no point in bringing in someone who is at the end of his career and using him as your flag bearer. Now, yeah, I've heard Neville name thrown around. That's the right direction. Bring young talent in that can go. And I've heard a few other big names mentioned out there that may come along as well. But Jericho, at this point, I don't see the upside. He doesn't get around the ring like he used to, nor should he. He's 50 years old. But the problem is he's not Hulk Hogan. See, Hulk Hogan's wrestling style was such that when he made that unexpected run, when he came back as part of the NWO and the World Wrestling Federation, or WWE, I think they were already changed by then, going up against The Rock, Hogan could still put on that level of show against The Rock because he doesn't springboard. He doesn't, high fly. I mean, he hits you with punches, clotheslines, elbow drops, and he could still do all that. And he still looked decent. Jericho was the lion salt master, and his lion salts don't have much roar anymore. I don't think the WWE is going to let AJ go. I think they're going to make him some money and make sure he stays right where he is. It would not... I mean, I say that, and AJ's getting up there as well. I mean, he's got a couple years left, but it's getting to that point where he's not a young boy anymore. This is not the kid that ran through TNA for how many, a decade. I mean, he still has more life left in him than Jericho for sure, but you don't want to throw too much money in there. Now, I think Shinsuke Nakamura is a much more likely candidate to go there, and he should. Yeah, Father Time is undefeated. You got that right, buddy. Enzo would be friggin' cancer. You're an upcoming company. You do not want an Enzo in your locker room. Nobody has had a good thing to say about Enzo Amore. Not one fucking wrestler that I've ever heard do a shoot has said a positive thing about that piece of shit. And not for nothing, what he tried pulling off at the pay-per-view a couple months back, going into business for himself in the audience where he had to be escorted out of the building, just proved that he is so out of touch. If he thought that was going to help him in any way, shape, or form as he tried to, first off, he's not a wrestler. Let's start with that. This motherfucker got hurt so many times, hurting himself because he couldn't take simple falls. He couldn't go over the top rope properly. He concussed himself going under the rope. I do agree. I don't know about a heavy focus, but I think they need to make a strong tag team division. I wouldn't have him there at all because he's cancer. Period. He pisses people off. That's what he does. Now, if it were just fans, then good. You can use that. But then he's in the back, and he's not one of the boys. He's not liked by the boys. And apparently the girls don't think much of him either. Certainly not as much as he thinks they do. Yeah, no. I will be absolutely fucking shocked to hell if you see Enzo Amore in any major wrestling organization. You know, some of those New Jersey-based ones, you know, that have, you know, former superstars or whatever, they might roll the dice with them once or twice until they realize, yeah, fuck you, you're not worth it. Is he going to put a single... Is one person going to buy a ticket or a pay-per-view because Enzo's on the card? Not one. There is not one person who's going to say, here's my $50. Oh, you got Enzo? I'm in. Not one person. So you don't need him. He has zero upside. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. You said it. There are guys that have not been popular in the back, but they were stars because they had talent. He has none. All he can do is say some shit on a microphone, and sometimes it's good. But that's it. It's kind of a 3-strike rule. It's like, you know, you fail in the back, you fail in the ring, you're okay on the mic. 2 out of 3, baby. You got to go. Yeah, Theo, I do agree that one, and that's why I said it's going to fail if All In is the formula they're using, okay? No, and not just because it was Joey Ryan, and no Joey Ryan, by the way. I'm all out if Joey Ryan is in. But that whole friggin' drama that he was dead and they flashing back, forget the whole hard-on thing and the penis thing. Just that level of writing and drama, no. None of it. It needs to go back to the way things used to be. 2 guys that just don't like each other. Fuck you, I'm going to kick your ass. That's what works. Some ringside interviews where the other guy comes out, hey, you want to say that to my face? That's what works. Make it feel like it's real. I mean, they've done so much in the business to make us know that it's not. Try to make us forget that it's not. And over-the-top production on skits and pop-up penises, that's not going to work. So anyway, I wish them well. I hope they're successful. The potential is there. They got the money now, and that's always the big part. So you get the money, you'll get the talent. You get the talent, they'll perform, hopefully, in the ring well. Now the thing is, are you going to try to beat the WWE at their own game? Because you can see how well that's working for them with half-full arenas. Or are you going to turn around instead and put out something that nobody's doing anymore, which is an old-school version of wrestling? You know, back in the day, when I think of, like, you know, the whole Joey Ryan angle they did on All In, we obviously back in the day, forget the whole hard-on scene that could never have gotten on TV back then. The cutaway scenes back in the day, the one that pops to my mind right away was when the Horsemen jumped Dusty Rhodes in a parking lot. They tied his arm up against a rail in a pickup truck, and then Anderson took the baseball bat, and as he came down on the arm, they freeze-framed the camera right before it made contact, but you kept the audio rolling so you heard Dusty screaming in pain and all that, but it was too gruesome to show. That was what worked, because that seemed like it could happen. Now, obviously, why these motherfuckers not in jail? Dusty Rhodes refused to press charges. Okay, whatever. I'm going to take care of him in the ring. That is good shit. It is real. Street fights happen. And now we're going to take the street fight break. Now, you can't do that same angle 25 fucking times. But that is what worked. Making it real and letting us in just enough to see a scenario that seemed realistic. The last time the WWE did anything that I thought was good outside the ring itself, building characters and feuds and whatevers. And it's hard to believe I'm going to say this, is going back several years ago to when they introduced the character of Carmella on NXT. I honestly thought she might have been some actress / hairstylist. I didn't think she was going to be getting in the ring. I just thought it was like a goof gimmick to get Enzo and Big Cass over, and it was working. And then they spill the color or whatever, the hair remover on the dog, and it's bald. That was some funny shit. Carmella did her role well. She's good looking. This before all the plastic surgery made her look like a guppy. And I bought it. I was shocked to find out she was a wrestler. I was like, shit. Got past me on that one. I thought she was just an actress playing a role. But that was good. It was believable that they would have some friend from Staten Island cutting hair, and you know, they didn't get jumped and all of a sudden have a hair fight with another tag team or some shit. It was just a good little character developing, and it had a couple of different episodes in it. And then she's like, well, now that I got fired from my job, thanks to you assholes, I need to get trained to be a performer in the ring. It was one of the best ever in the last 10, 15 years, easy, ways that they introduced a character that we didn't know a lot about or anything about. And they don't do that anymore. They haven't done it except for that one time. That was what worked because it seemed real. Exactly. It made sense. Maybe that's the best way. Hey, that should be their tagline. AEW. It makes sense. That's what they need to run with right there, baby. All right. Guys, I've got to wrap, but thanks again for joining me. Thanks for sticking around for the after show here. Plans right now are tomorrow night, or later tonight, technically, because we're now into tomorrow. I'm shooting for, I can't promise, because I got stuff I'm doing during the evening hours, and I don't know how long that will keep me out and about. But my goal is somewhere right around 11 p.m. or midnight-ish to do the Royal Rumble. So, again, we talk about 2K and why I hate them. You can only do the Royal Rumble in the current Royal Rumble arena. Seriously. It's like, I just don't know what to say anymore. It's a match type. Why can't I put it in the Royal Rumble arena I made? Well, no, I'm not going to do it on 2K14 because I don't have all the people I need on 2K14. Not to mention, I don't even know if I still have a save file that I can download for 2K14, which means I would have lost all of my creations and all that shit. But I may do a retro play along or something like that later on. See, that kind of stuff I might still do on the YouTube channel. You know, the goofy stuff. And I still haven't had a chance yet. I got the old Steel Cage game from back in like the Super NES, whatever. I got it for Christmas where it's all in one. You know, the controller and the buttons, and the game is actually in the handheld controller. So I just need to hook it up, and I was going to stream it as like a throwback game, but I just haven't had a chance to get around to it yet. But I will. We'll have some fun with that maybe. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Royal Rumble, like I said, sometime later tonight around 11 midnight, somewhere in that ballpark is my target. I was also planning on doing this back at like 10 p.m. yesterday, and that didn't quite work out. So, I may do something with that. Like I said, you got me wanting to at least pop it in and see how it is, and I can find out if I have my save file still existing up on the cloud, maybe. Although I got a feeling I probably would have got rid of that by now. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I'll see you right back here ringside later on with the Royal Rumble. Until then, have a great day.